to the Movies Past and Present podcast. It's November 11th, 2021, and this is episode 76. I'm your host, Stanford Clark, and I'm podcasting from the crossroads of the West in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. Just like my blog, moviespastandpresent.com, I'll be providing recommendations, commentary, and reviews about current and classic cinema. Thanks for tuning in, and let's do this thing. We've got new movies just flying all over the place. I'm going to focus on a couple here that are new on streaming platforms. First up is Red Notice, which is an action comedy. This is made by Netflix. Netflix is actually playing this in select movie theaters across the country, and it will be streaming on Netflix starting tomorrow on November 12th. This is directed by Rawson Marshall Thurber. This movie stars Dwayne Johnson, a.k.a. The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. So we got an appealing cast. And it's the pros versus the cons. And Interpol issued Red Notice is a global alert to hunt and capture the world's most wanted. But when a daring heist brings together the FBI's top profiler, who's played by The Rock, and two rival criminals, Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds play the criminals, there's no telling what will happen. So I think Red Notice looks like it's going to be a fun action movie. It is rated PG-13 by the Motion Picture Association for violence and action, some sexual references, and strong language. Next up is FINCH. FINCH is an adventure drama which is currently playing now on Apple TV+. It's directed by Miguel Sapochnik. Hope I'm saying your name right, Miguel. Tom Hanks is Finch, a man who embarks on a moving and powerful journey to find a new home for his unlikely family, his beloved dog, and a newly created robot. And they're in a dangerous and ravaged world. It looks to me like it's a dystopian future type of movie, but it also looks like quite compelling. So Finch, as I mentioned, is now streaming on Apple TV+. It's rated PG-13 by the Motion Picture Association for brief, violent images. While we're on the topic of streaming services, the Disney Plus streaming service is celebrating its second anniversary tomorrow, November 12th, and they're calling it Disney Plus Day. And they're going to be dumping a whole bunch of content on the service, and also in Disney style, there's going to be a lot of synergistic stuff going on. If you haven't signed up for Disney Plus, tomorrow would be a good day to do it. They're offering a 1-month membership for $1.99. And then I'm not sure what happens beyond that. if you want to continue with it, as far as some of the content that's going to be on the service starting tomorrow, the Marvel Studios film Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings will be making its Disney Plus debut tomorrow. Jungle Cruise, speaking of starring The Rock, speaking of Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, that will be making its Disney Plus debut also on November 12th. Anyway, lots of good stuff. So you should definitely go check out Disney Plus tomorrow if you're not a subscriber, or if you are a subscriber. I'm excited. I know one of the things that they're doing with some of these Marvel films that play on Disney Plus, they're doing what they're calling an IMAX enhanced version of it. So it's going to be in the IMAX ratio, although you'll be seeing this on your TV screen. But I'm going to check it out for sure. They have I think it looks like to me maybe 10 or 12 of their films that are doing that. So of the Marvel Studios films on Disney Plus. So anyway, Disney Plus Day on November 12th should be great. reviews, we've got 4 films. I'm a little behind. Sorry about that. First one is The Last Duel. This one opened up in theaters a few weeks ago, and actually it kind of bombed at the box office. I think you still might be able to catch a screening on the big screen. But also, I'm sure it'll be coming to digital and streaming platforms very soon. So this film is directed by Ridley Scott. It is based on a screenplay from Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, who both star in the film, as well as a writer named Nicole Holofcener, and I hope I'm saying her name correctly. And it's also based on both historical data and a 2004 book called The Last Duel, A True Story of Trial by Combat in Medieval France by Eric Jaeger. Now, I had mentioned this in a previous podcast, but this film is follows a bit of the style of the Japanese film Rashomon, as you may have heard of or seen before, directed by the great Akira Kurosawa. Whereas it takes one story and tells it from the perspective of the three main people. In this case, there's a husband played by Matt Damon, wife played by Jodie Comer, and then this other knight who was a friend of Matt Damon's character, played by Adam Driver. And they each give an accounting of this story, which is where Matt Damon's character and Jodie Comer's character get married. There's a lot of stuff going on with estates and land and whatnot, and these different military campaigns. But what happens is this knight, played by Adam Driver, ends up raping the wife of Matt Damon, again played by Jodie Comer, and she accuses this guy of rape, and how it gets resolved is that there's a duel to the death between again Matt Damon's character and Adam Driver's character. So hence the title of The Last Duel, because also I believe it was the last duel that was sanctioned by a court in France, at least as far as conflict resolution. It's a tough film to watch, frankly. Partly because we have to see this rape 3 times, from 3 different perspectives. But it's a hard watch. This film definitely earns its R rating. Also, the most of this stuff is actually kind of bland and uninteresting, all leading up to this last duel at the end, which is just, frankly, just gruesome. So I had to, quote unquote, watch much of it with my eyes closed because I just, they were going for realism, and then they got it. It was really gross. So, overall, I think I was I was disappointed with The Last Duel. I found it rather bland, and then a bit too extreme in those regards. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Next up is the big science fiction epic Dune, and Dune hopefully is still available on the big screen. Sadly, I don't think it's available on IMAX anymore, because I always think IMAX is a good idea if you can see these these big movies on the IMAX size screen. But still, any big screen, I think will do, because it's a big screen epic. It's also playing on HBO Max, I think, for another few days. So if you want to check that out. Speaking of HBO, Dune was published in 1965. It's a science fiction book by Frank Herbert. I think it's mostly beloved by the science fiction community and just by a lot of people. And I just know that they think it's a very good book. I'm in the process of reading it. I'm trying to get through it. It's rather large. The edition I have is over 600 pages, and then more pages with forwards and afterwards and appendices and whatnot. But anyway, this film is also turned into a feature length. Excuse me. This book was also turned into a feature length film in 1984. It was directed by David Lynch, and it's currently playing on HBO. So if you've got HBO Max, it's definitely something you can check out if you choose to. I got to tell you, the 1984 film is cruddy. I think it's got quite a cult following, but it's really a terrible it's really a terrible film. I think one of the disadvantages though of this 1984 film is that they cram this very large book into about 2 hours and 15 minutes, so they're not going for epic length with it. So they're cramming a lot in. It's got a really 80s feel to it, which can be fun and kind of campy, but in this case, it was just mostly just kind of overblown and gross. So I can't say I'd recommend this 1984 film. However, now we come to this 2021 film adaptation, directed by Denis Villeneuve, and it's a completely different experience, and I was really quite taken with it. So Dune, this book and the story, it's one of the great kind of, again, hero's journey type of stories. A character named Paul Atreides, who's this young man born into this somewhat royal family, and his calling and his journey to go save the people on this sand planet, which is called one of the names they give this planet is Dune, because it's just endless sand dunes. So instantly though, you get when this new film version starts, it's really this story about Paul's journey. Paul is played by Timothée Chalamet, and it's a wonderful cinematic experience. Dune's a very complicated book, as I'm finding as I'm reading reading it, and then also again experiencing that earlier film where there's so much to cover, and they just chose to cram so much in. Whereas I thought that in this new version, Denis Villeneuve really took his time to set up the story. Also, it needs to be said that the very first thing when you see the title card of this new film is it's Dune Part 1. And then shortly after this movie opened, Warner Brothers officially announced that they are producing Dune Part 2. So that also makes sense, because the runtime seems it's around 2.5 hours, maybe a little longer. And if I were to only have really any kind of complaint about this current version, is that it ends rather abruptly. And I think that's why we know, is because there's lots more to follow. But I found that the story was I guess the visual storytelling is really what I should say is excellent, and that you can follow the plot, and it's interesting. The acting's great. They've got a huge cast. There's Oscar Isaac and Rebecca Ferguson, and anyway, Stellan's Skarsgård. It just goes on and on. There's lots and lots of people in this movie. Zendaya plays a very important role in it. And anyway, I like Dune. Go see it on the big screen. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Next up is The French Dispatch, which is a very different kind of film. It's directed by Wes Anderson. And if you're familiar with Wes Anderson's films, he's just got, he has this very distinctive style. I think maybe some view it as pretentious. I view it as quite charming. Really, every single shot of his is set up like a painting. And just the way that the characters are placed. And again, it's not natural or realistic, really, per se. But it's a wonderful storytelling vehicle. And this is a really charming film. It's basically 3 three kind of stories that are all woven into this main fabric. And the French Dispatch is, in a way, I think that this is a tribute to the New Yorker magazine. And uh, this particular magazine is written and published in France, but mostly by Americans, by expats that are living over there. The editor is played by Bill Murray. This film also has a very impressive cast. But it's talking about, I guess, this last issue that they're creating of the French Dispatch. And it goes into some in depth. I guess these three stories would be considered like main articles that are getting written for it. The English major, I was a college English major, just was delighted. It was so literary, so charming. Also R-rated. There's some nudity and some language in it that where it earns its R rating, but it's a really good film within this type of genre. So if you're into kind of these literary artsy films, I think you will enjoy The French Dispatch. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Last up for reviews is Eternals, which is the latest in the Marvel Studios, the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. I'd never heard of Eternals before. They made their first appearance in July of 1976 in the Marvel printed comics. They were created by Jack Kirby, who is a legend in the Marvel Comics universe. And the Eternals, they are an extraterrestrial race. They all are, they look like humans, and they're like this evolutionary offshoot of the I guess the Celestials, or this is like the creators of the universe. Again, comic book stuff that's kind of heady. They are intended to be the defenders of Earth, and also to defend Earth from their destructive counterparts, the Deviants. So you don't have to remember any of this stuff. It gets kind of explained in the movie, kind of. But basically, I thought that this film, it's and it's been getting really mixed reviews, and there's controversy within some of these Marvel fans. For me, I just totally enjoyed it. It was pure escapism. Again, these were all new characters to me. A lot of it, frankly, was just like beautiful people standing around talking and sometimes fighting, and I was okay with it. I know a complaint I've heard from others and from friends is that it was just so difficult to really find out or figure out what was happening and what was going on and what these people were doing and what their relationships were, etc. And I would agree, but for me, that was part of the enjoyment of it, was trying to figure out what these people were doing or what they were talking about. And again, all the actors they got were so appealing. And then directed by Chloe Zhao, which I thought was a very interesting choice, but also in a way kind of a perfect choice for a movie like this. I just thought it was right down her alley. So for me, I enjoyed Eternals a lot, and it's a very different style of film than you'd get from, say, like a Captain America movie or whatnot, and that's not bad. So we'll see what's in store, what these Eternals characters are going to be doing in the future of these Marvel movies that are all kind of interconnected. It's all just like one big kind of serial setup, which again is just really fun. And and I get zero life meaning out of a Marvel movie. it's for me, it's just pure entertainment and escape. So anyway, I gave Eternals 4 out of 5 stars. Well, that does it for this episode of the Movies Past and Present podcast. Again, links and more information about the movies discussed in today's podcast can be found in the podcast notes on my blog at moviespastandpresent.com. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. Links are also on the blog. And please follow me on Instagram. My handle is @moviespap, as in past and present. As always, I hope you'll enjoy some good movies this week, whether they be from the past or the present. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, be safe out there and dedicate yourself to the truth.
Bye.